time of this recording, it is Friday, June 21st, 2024. Hey, how's it going for everyone? What's shaking? What's banging? What's moving with the collective today? Hopefully it's been a day of evolution and growth. It's never too late to hit reset, get back on track, tell the truth and stay the course, bring some souls along with you. It's what it's all about, is the evolution. So today I'm going to speak about having a teachable spirit. And the caveat to that is, I'm going to move my fan just a second. Much better. And so, but the caveat to, do you have a teachable spirit? Believe it or not, can actually make or break you. And sometimes, when we least expect it, can mean the difference between life and death. No exaggerations. So, let me tell you guys about a story back of mine that actually held that for me. And then so what this comes down to is ego versus pride. Can you relearn something to level yourself up? Can you relearn something if it meant to swallow your pride? Because they say pride comes before the fall. And then admit that there's room for growth and evolution, and that you're going to strike your path on that growth and evolution. Well, the year was, what was the year? Oh, we'll just call it early 90s. Was it early 90s? No. I don't know, 95, 96, somewhere in there. At any rate, my dad and mom had sent me and my mom to visit in the Philippines. And I had a lovely time. And I had this dream. This dream was like one of those, it wasn't just one of those discombobulated dreamscapes where it's like really dreamy. It was like, hey. And so basically in my dream, it was just a setting. It was like a really large bed. And then there was a child, probably about 2 to 3 years old, that could talk really well. And it sat up and it looked at me and it said, beware of the car accident like nightmare. And so when I had awoken, I was like, I'm all like, okay. That was August of 1995. Was it 95? yeah, 95, somewhere in there. And then so, I just kind of tucked it in the back of my mind, all right, and anything I'd ever wondered about, I always put in my mental filing cabinet. Things that don't make sense now may, all of a sudden, can't snap, may trigger the memory, and then it will have a greater meaning. And then so, that was, August of 1995. And then whenever I made it back home to the States, I had met up with Marcy and her friends up at, I don't know which bar for drinks, probably the 19th hole back over in Houston, if not Molly's. And then so I met one of her high school friends, Chris English. Shout out to Chris English. What's up, bro? I love you to the moon and back. And then so he was talking about how he had just gotten a job at the Texas Renaissance Festival. Caveats, footnote here, Texas Renaissance Festival. You all have much to be accountable for with all your gang stalking. Just saying. Put a pin in that and come back to that later. And then so at any rate, I was really excited for him. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. I mean, like, can you help me get a job? He was like, sure. So I had such a wonderful time. It was the first time I'd ever worked at the Texas Renaissance Festival. It was, at the time, it was the Nichols Gaming, that was the company. It was toward the rear of the fair proper, where it had the immersive experience of playing games, because throughout the Texas Renaissance Festival, it was more of a spectator sport rather than a participant sport, because the participants were the ones doing the acting and such. So in the games, oh my God, I couldn't have ended up with such a better job, because I love children, and I found my niche. And so in the games, it was like you had a game and you hawked at people to come play your game. And then so if you were the agent, hawking at everybody, and then you had a helper, the agent got a percentage of the sales that you made, and then your helper got a percentage of what you made. And so you worked your butt off. But it was so much fun. And then so my first game that I played there, that I worked, was the axe, the axe throwing one. Whoosh. And then I also got to do the knife booth where you threw knives. So it was so much fun, because during the week I was working as a basic EMT on an ambulance, and on the weekend I was throwing knives in my knife booth. It was amazing fun. And then so I had met this girl, and she lived close to the Texas Renaissance Festival. She was one of my colleagues there. So I'm like, yeah, I can give you a ride home, sure. And then so one weekend, whenever I was giving her a ride home, at the participants exit and entrance, that you're either a patron or a participant. The participants are the workers. It's a heavily forested area, and at the time there was a railroad track. The railroad track is still there, and at that time it was unprotected without a railroad crossing, one of those protectors. And then so whenever everybody's leaving, we're like sardines, back to back to back to back. And so when I got into the railroad crossing, being sardines, I was positioned right on top of the railroad tracks. And then this kid behind me had rear-ended me. It was a good tap, but it wasn't like blah, blah, blah. And then so I thought I would just get out and just joke with them. I'm like, hey, but my intended joke was, well, if you have a joint, a blunt or something, we just call it even, right? And then so I went over there to joke with them. It fell flat. It didn't go anywhere, and left me feeling really dopish, really out of character. So I'm like, okay, never mind. So I got back in my car. And then so the next day, whenever I was at on my shift, because that was a Saturday night, Sunday, whenever we had to reconvene for our games and our shifts, I mentioned it to a coworker, which I was trying to be funny, be like, well, I was just going to barter with them for a joint, and my friend, it was like a light switch flipped in him, and then he goes, Patricia, so I was Patricia at the time, Patricia, you have to be careful there. That's an unprotected railroad crossing, and people have died. And I was like, okay, in this moment, he came down on me really hard. And I could have done one of two things. Because, man, I felt like I shrunk inside my chest, and I was probably about 10 feet tall, trying to tell a stupid joke, versus getting shrunk down to 2 inches tall, getting, browbeat for a really stupid joke. And one of two things could have happened. I could have operated in my ego. I could have operated, with an open mind. So I could have just reared back at him like, hey, it was just a joke, okay? Because, man, he came down on me. That was some tough love. And then so I always listen to counter-constructive criticism, whether or not, it was done in poor taste or respectful ways. I will listen. And then so after that, what I did was I adapted my new behavior. I was working as a monitor on a school bus at the Condor Independent School District, and I noted that the bus drivers would always come to a complete stop at every railroad crossing. And then so I adopted that behavior into my driving. And then so no matter what it was, I could, always look both ways, but I would treat it like a stop sign. Not everybody appreciated that. I didn't care. You have to do what is right for you. Even when others are like, hey, come on now. I'd be like, Although my ears may get a little hot, behind my neck and all, I still stop at every freaking railroad track crossing. And then so that following weekend, whenever I was bringing my friend home, giving her a ride, because I come back to the camp, it was the cars were leaving like sardines again. And then it was so, it had syntium of flow. And what happened was, whenever I was getting up to that same railroad crossing, the car in front of me had crossed the crossing. I stopped. It was like a 3 beats. The car went across. I stopped, and the train was like, like right in front of me. See, the forestry was so thick and so dense, you didn't even see the lights coming down. And it's a party city back there. And then so while we were in the car, it was like, whoa, oh my God, because, what happened was, if I did not have a teachable spirit, I wouldn't have made it home that day. So the dream that I had back in August, that same August, before I worked at Texas Renaissance Festival for the first time that year, I was warned in the dream, beware of the car accident like nightmare. And then, if I treated that gentleman who had battened down the hatches and hunkered down with some tough love, if I was like filled with ego, I'd be like, oh my God, what is this man's problem? I was just telling a joke. He saved my life. So, this is what it is to have a teachable spirit. Because whenever the information comes to you, it might not come to you again. And you have no way of knowing how that teachable moment was there to help your salvation. So, when I tell everybody that every aspect of all of this gang stalking is of Nazi heritage, this is a Nazi heritage. You all are suicide squads running your prostitute psyop assignments without integrity. You all sold out your integrity for whatever it was you're getting your grub down on, because you had decided to pay homage to character assassination and slander In whatever way you tell yourself that you had a right to run a line of deceit to get somebody to catalyze their clinical depression, oppression, while they are being blackballed from employment and having their character assassinated 9 ways from Sunday, your salvation is compromised. Think about that, especially you Christians. Your salvation is compromised. God forbid you are a matriarch or a patriarch and then had pulled in your brood to become gang stalkers. You compromised their salvation. And on top of that, you had worked generational curses into your bloodline. Now, you can take what I say with an open heart. From Big Sister, Chief Little Flower here, get your shit together and make today the day you turn over the new leaf and be the prodigal son and prodigal daughters to come home as a prodigal family and serve the light. Get back on, hit reset, get right with yourselves, tell the truth. Tell the truth. It's all predicated on telling the truth. Make video confessions of your participation and observations with the when, who, and the where. Upload them to multiple platforms on the World Wide Web. And then commit your account to paper. Make sure that your date of birth is on there. Your name, signature, take it to a notary public. It's supposed to say, oh, that's you. Okay, by viewing your ID. And then go, this is your birthday? You sign this? Notarize. Then make registered mail with the tracking number. That's important. Put it on the bodies of the letters, mail them to the appropriate authorities, and then go visit the appropriate authorities with your interviews and leave them Xerox copies of the document and the registered mail, and always keep copies for yourselves. That is how you tell the truth. And if you can't do that, well, your sorries between you and the Most High is null and void. And then stay the course and bring some souls with you. So that is how you tell the truth. And yes, this is going to be ego versus salvation. Your salvation has been compromised, people. If your avatar happens to expire and you hadn't done your due diligence to get back on track, you don't get to go into the land of milk and honey. You get sucked right into the lowest vibratory frequency dimensions throughout the galaxy and cosmos. This is your salvation we're talking here. We are talking about you all working the suicide squad, destroying families. So, you're welcome. I taught you. Now, what you do with this information, that's up to you, my brothers and my sisters. But, there's nobody perfect here. At any rate, this video has been about teachable moments. And you never know when that teachable moment comes up. It's a matter of life and death. And in some cases, between salvation and hellish dimensions. So at any rate, thank you for watching. But, and I leave this with you. Witchy witches. With all of your spell work. Your black magic. And all of you death practitioners. Where's your spell work going? Where's your death magic going? Because all of the negative intentions you all have brought against your targeted individuals and chosen ones and the other earth angels, told you, it goes back to you. So what does that mean? Oh, well, one word to you. Sayonara.